Good evening, everybody. How are you this evening? My name is Garfield Waller. Welcome to an episode of Rock the Mic. Guys, I was off for a while, but I was tempted. I had to get my system up and running because of what happened yesterday. Because of what took place at the National Stadium, I had to get it ready. I had to. Guys, after that debacle at the stadium, I can keep silent no longer. Is this really our best football? Is this really the best football the JFF has to offer us? Is this really the best we can play? Come on, guys, we can do better. Jamaica, one of the largest islands in the Caribbean, we should be able to do better. The JFF has to put a better product on the field. It's time. We have to demand more. As a people, as sports fans, football fans, we need to demand more. They have to come to a reckoning. They have to answer for the product they put on the field. We cannot continue like this. Yesterday was basically an embarrassment. If you're not ashamed, I don't know what it will take. Guys, we went to the World Cup in 1998. 1998. And it seems like we have taken backward steps. We have taken backward steps. We have regressed, guys. Instead of moving forward, we're moving backwards. What's wrong? Is it that the players then were so much better? Or does the JFF and its team have to share some of the blame? What do you think? Guys, whenever you're seeing this, could you put a comment? Let's hear what you think, guys. But let's look at this objectively. Let's look at this objectively. Yes, we're all football fans. Yes, we want to win. But is it the coach's fault? Is it the coach's fault? Come on, think about it. Does Tapa share some of the blame here? Should we blame him? Does everything fall squarely on his shoulders? That's a hard load for one man to bear. Or should we blame Michael Ricketts? Should we blame the president of the JFF? Is it his fault? Now, guys, we got to look at it also. Do we blame the players? Or is it a whole collective thing? We've got to look at each section objectively. Can we do better? I think we can. Should we be doing better? I think we should. And guys, in the future, listen, this octagonal tournament will be over soon. And the way things seem, it's like we're going to be at the bottom. We're going to forever be in the cellar. So I think this competition for us is a wash. We've got to look to the future. We have to start looking to the future. And we have to do something very drastic. We cannot keep going on like this, guys. We're giving our coaches and the guys a basket to carry water. Now I'm asking us to really take a good look at this and let's go through every area and see what's happening. So I've divided this into little sections. So first of all, let's look at the JFF leadership. Let's look at the leadership. Is the JFF prepared? Can they handle the job that's being asked of them? Can they handle it? First of all, guys, to run a good football program, we need money. And that's where we have always fallen down. We need money. We no longer have, the colonel, to go out and approach these companies, these corporate sponsors. We seem to have a group of guys who have no connection with corporate Jamaica. Let's take a look at the JFF. When Teddy McCook was here, he could appeal to all these companies. Football needs somebody like that. We need a team like that. Right now, we have nobody. I don't think the JFF can approach a company and objectively and realistically ask and receive money. Nobody's helping the team. And without the money, we are screwed. Without that money, we are screwed. I get the impression that the JFF leadership is just throwing mud against the wall, hoping something sticks. They're hoping something works. That isn't the way to go. We cannot succeed like that. At least in 1998, we had semblance of better leadership. We had semblance of better leadership. The captain was okay, and he approached sponsors, and we got sponsors. Just think, to go to France was a big deal. Now it seems like we have nobody at the helm. It's like there's a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off running around. It's a boat without a rudder, just going around in circles. Right now, I don't think there's a football fan in Jamaica that is optimistic about not just this team, but any team in the future. It's a tall order to ask. But we need people at the helm, people in management who can do a good job. And frankly, I don't see anybody like that. And I don't see anybody stepping up. So JFF and Jamaica, I'm calling on the parish presidents, guys. We have to put somebody up for election who will make a difference, somebody who will make a change. We have to. Otherwise, we're going to keep on getting this rubbish day after day after day, year after year after year. Okay, so much for the Jamaican leadership. Now, Tapa has come under a lot of fire. Let's look at the coaching staff. Is the coaching staff up to the job? Are they qualified? I can think of two other guys in Jamaica who would seem to be more qualified. Right now, I hear them talking about Paul Hall stepping in after Theodore Whitmore is removed or he steps down. But do we all? I don't know how to look at it. Jamaica has always had a penchant for foreign coaches. We have always brought in the foreigner and we have always paid him a lot. Maybe, just maybe, if we pay Tapa what we would pay a foreign coach or any other local coach we want to bring in, if we pay them what we would pay the foreigner, maybe they would step their game up. How about it? How about trying that one day? Promoting a guy and paying him the real bucks. Make him responsible. But you can't blame Tapa. If you're giving me peanuts, what do you expect? If you're pretending to pay me, I'm going to pretend to work. Pay the man. And maybe he'll just surprise you. No, guys, when it comes to coaching, listen, I'm no expert. But here's a suggestion I have. One of my friends was suggesting this. Why don't we take a few local coaches, take them out of the job of coaching for 3 months or so. Take a handful of them, 4 to 6 guys. Let's approach some clubs abroad. Let's say we go to England and we approach maybe a Liverpool, an Arsenal, whatever, and say, hey, look, can you take our coach for a month, 2 months? We will pay his room and board. You haven't got to pay him anything. We'll pay his room and board. All we ask you to do is allow him to stay with your club, shadow your coach, shadow your managers, shadow your coaching staff. Let him see how things are run on a real professional level. For a month, 2 months at the most. A handful of our guys going over, doesn't have to be England, can be South America, can be somewhere else in Europe. Have them shadow these coaches and see how things are done. Then when they come back, we can take those 4 guys and put them, JFF can put them in a leadership position. 4 of them together, putting heads together, should be able to come with a good plan for a team. We should be able to do that. Now, guys, I don't know how the salary would go, but that's where JFF and corporate sponsorship would come in. But we need a staff who's committed. We need a staff who's knowledgeable. Not just meeting the players 2 days before, but being able to go around the island and scout the players. See who would fit into the system we want to use, or see which system would fit the best players we have. But we need a staff that's knowledgeable, not just about Corner League or National League, but about international football. Send some of our coaches overseas to some of these coaching courses. I'm sure it would help. It can't make it any worse. Let's face it, it cannot be any worse. It has to be a step up. We also need a football academy run by these top coaches. where we can put our minds together and see which players we should develop. Right now, we produce a load of talent, but it falls by the wayside because there's no structure. There's no structure to our football. Kids leave prep school, and there's a big disjoint to when they go to high school, from primary, high school. You see the blossoming of talent in high school, and then there's nowhere to go because our coaches are not following any said system. Not that they have to, but players have to be developed. Players have to be developed, and we need that academy, and we need knowledgeable, certified guys. Now, let's look at something else, guys. That was about the coaching staff. Something that the JFF has to look at again, the playing surfaces. Looking at the stadium field yesterday, I was embarrassed. If it didn't shock you, it shocked me to see what we're playing. It looks like a cow pasture. Come on, guys. How can we play good football if the players don't have a good surface to play on? You cannot make a good 10, 15-yard pass without the ball bobbling up. So the player has to take 2, 3 touches to really settle that ball down before he can use it, before he can shoot or make another pass. The bounce is erratic. The player has no idea a ball coming to him where it's going to end up. We need a good field. I don't care how. Listen, that field has to be resurfaced. We have to restart that field. And we can't let any and anybody go on this field. This field should be reserved for our national team and their matches. It's not just a stadium. Other fields throughout the country are like that. We need a good surface. And without that surface, our players are never gonna develop. It's not gonna happen. We can dream, we can wish, we can hope, we can pray. The fact of the matter is we need good playing surfaces. Period. Okay, now let's take a look at the players, player selection and the system of play. I'm not going to call names, guys, but I'm a firm believer in the fact that we should use our local base players. If we want to develop our nation as a whole, the football of our nation, we need our local base players. We cannot keep bringing in these mercenaries just for a game. Yes, we may want to win the match, and you may have to look at these guys abroad, but let's develop our players. And right now, we have none of that going on. Schoolboy football to national and major league, but there's no development. There's nobody teaching these players. I agree that at a certain level, each player should know how to control, dribble, and pass, but the rest of it is important. It's not the how, but the why. The why is important. If you look at our football, you can see our players are lacking serious development, not physically, mentally. Our players are not thinking. Maybe coaches are not explaining why this is done that way, why a player should move here, why you should mark a man goal side, why you should be able to see the ball and the man you're marking at the same time without having to turn your head. Come on, guys. Our guys are not dunce, but there's some breakdown in discipline once that whistle blows and they're on the field. It's like everything they're taught goes out the window. Why? I don't know. How that happens, I cannot tell. I see players, international players, guys wearing the green and gold, making mistakes that guys playing Pepsi or prep school football wouldn't make. The man you're marking has drifted off to the side and you're ball watching. Too much of that is going on. We don't seem to know when to dribble, when to cover ground, capture territory, or when to make the pass. Sometimes we dribble when we should pass. We pass when we should dribble. Are the coaches instilling the why and the how into the players? Knowing when to pass, when to fall back, when to cover, when to pressure. A lot of that is lacking. And I don't know what we're going to do to ingrain this into our players. That it's not just a control on the kick, but the system of play. Moving together forward, moving backward, moving to the side, covering each other. I cannot tell when last I have seen a Jamaican player make a decoy run. Running maybe a diagonal, hoping to pull a player out of a defense out of position. It doesn't happen. And guys, our tackling is atrocious. Atrocious. We still feel that we have to go in to really hurt the man, take the man on the ball. We haven't learned to tackle. Some of our players don't know when to tackle, when to just jockey the man, hold him up for a while. We don't seem to know that. We want to just run in and boom. Where's the sense in that? Where is the sense in that? And because of the pressure this brings on our players, our poor goalkeeper, who is clearly the best on the field, has to be doing yeoman service. The poor guy has to be coming off his line before he should in some cases because he doesn't trust his defense. And the defense doesn't trust the midfield. And the forwards are not getting the service they need. Come on, guys, we can do better. I have seen the talent coming out of Jamaica. I have seen it, and we can develop that. Otherwise, these guys are just going to go down the drain, and we're going to have to keep depending on these foreign-based players, which we shouldn't have to do. But JFF, we've got to hold you accountable. We've got to hold you accountable. Next time I come on and I'll call some names of people who I think would do good jobs. And I think these people, if we pay them enough, if we pay these guys enough, I think they'll step up. I think they'll step up. We have talented coaches there who I think just need support. But right now, our game is too political. We've got to break out of that mentality that, hey, town ballers are the best. We got to give other players opportunities. And if a player doesn't pan out, hey, I'm not saying dump him right away, but give a youngster the chance. Bring in younger talent. Maybe groom them over a period of 3-4 years. But we can't keep taking these guys from England who are, oh God, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. When we look at teams who are above us in this thing, Costa Rica, Panama, come on, guys, JFF, we got to do better. We just can't keep blaming Tapper. If we were not satisfied with Tapper, let's move on to somebody else. Let's move on. It's time to cut our losses and make the change. But who are we gonna get? Which international coach is gonna want to take on that job? Let's try and promote somebody from the inside. I could think of at least 3 names, but I don't want to put them on the spot right now. But guys, it's getting to the point where many Jamaicans watching this thing really turn the TV off. That shouldn't be the case. We're good in track. Hey, track is not an individual sport, but I don't see why we can't be good in football also. We have the talent. I've seen it. I have seen it. We just have to develop it. We need some guys who can sit down and plan. JFF, I think we need a new set. We need a new set of guys at the top. We need to get them out and bring in other guys. Come on, guys. We're wasting our time. We're wasting our time. We're wasting the little money we have. Come on. Like I said, like I asked, is this really our best football? I think not. I know it's not. I hope it's not. And for the rest of the games we have, hey, do we still have a realistic chance of qualifying? If we don't, listen, if we don't, why keep on doing this? Why not bring some new players in, some younger players, and give them the experience of playing international football? If we don't have that chance, there may still be a mathematical chance. But if we're not going to qualify, let's get rid of this set. Let's bring some youngsters and give them 3-4 international games. Let them see what it's like. Let them see the level to which they have to rise. So guys, let's hope for the best. Over and out. To all Jamaican fans, we just got to keep the faith and hope that next time will be better. But this cannot be our best. It definitely cannot be. Thank you. Garfield Waller with the Rock the Mic.